You know when you're at the park and you see two dogs meet? Ever wonder what's really going on there? It's not just random sniffing and tail wagging, it's a whole secret language. Today, we're going to decode that language. We're diving deep into the science of how dogs build their social world, with each other and, with us.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the actual blueprint for their behavior. Then we'll get into their communication toolkit. After that, we're going to bust a huge myth about the whole alpha dog thing. Then we'll explore their idea of personal space. And finally, wrap it all up with how living with humans has totally reshaped them.
All right, let's jump right in. Section 1, the Canine Social Code. See, to really get what makes an animal tick, scientists don't just guess. They start with a map, a kind of blueprint for behavior that makes sense of everything they do.
And that map has a name. It's called an ethogram. The easiest way to think about it is like an official dictionary for every single thing a dog does, from a little ear twitch to a full-on bark. It's the key for scientists to systematically figure out the why behind their actions.
And a massive chapter in that dictionary is all about social behavior. Now, this isn't just about being nice or playing fetch. It's a really complex set of rules, a whole social code that lets dogs live together peacefully and build a stable community, with other dogs and with us humans too.
So, how do they actually follow this social code? Well, they communicate, of course. But believe me, it is so much more sophisticated than just barking.
Dogs are constantly sending and receiving messages using this amazing multi-sensory toolkit. They've got visual signals with their body language, sound signals from whines to growls, and touch, like a little nuzzle. But one of their most powerful tools, it's their nose.
And this is so cool, because it reframes something we see every single day. You know that fire hydrant on the corner? To a dog, that's not just a toilet, it's a community message board. Seriously. Scent marking is how they post updates about who's been there, what their status is. It's basically doggy's social media.
This brings us to a huge, and I mean huge, misconception, the whole pack hierarchy thing. For years, we were all told it was about the alpha. Well, what modern science tells us is a very, very different story.
Okay, so here's the breakdown. The old school view was that dogs were in this constant power struggle to be number one. But the modern view, it's much more nuanced. What we often call dominance is actually super complex. It's usually not about a quest for power at all. It's often coming from a place of fear or anxiety, like a dog guarding its favorite toy.
So where do we fit into this picture? This quote just nails it. Our job isn't to be some physically dominating alpha. No, instead, we become the super alpha. That means we're the calm, consistent leader who provides guidance and controls all the good stuff, like food and toys. It's about leadership, not being a dictator.
And there's a wild biological reason this whole super alpha thing works. It's a process called fetalization. Basically, domestication hit the pause button on a dog's development, leaving them in a more juvenile or youthful state. This is what makes them so open to our guidance and training their whole lives.
And to keep things peaceful, dogs have a built-in language for calming things down. I mean, their cute puppy-like faces alone can stop an older dog from being aggressive. And they used active signals too, like rolling over or licking another dog's mouth, to basically say, hey, I'm no threat, we're cool.
All this talk about managing social situations leads us perfectly into our next topic, a dog's sense of personal space and territory.
Deep down in their DNA, dogs are what scientists call distance animals. This just means their wild ancestors instinctively kept a personal bubble of space around them. And that need for distance is a really basic part of their social code, making sure everyone feels safe and has enough room.
But then you look over at your dog, who might be literally sleeping on your feet right this second. That just shows you the incredible power of domestication. Over thousands of years, we've completely reshaped that instinct, making them totally comfortable living way closer to us and other pets than their ancestors ever would have been.
And that's the perfect way to slide into our final section, where we'll tie this all together by looking at just how much we've shaped the social world of the modern dog.
One of the biggest results of domestication, and it's tied to that fetalization we talked about, is something called neoteny. It's the reason so many adult dogs still have those big puppy eyes and softer faces. But it's not just about looks. That goofy, lifelong playfulness we love so much, that is neoteny in action.
And this right here shows you just how vital those early days are. Get this, the absolute most important time for a puppy to learn its social rules, how to speak dog and how to interact with people, happens in this incredibly short window, from just 3 to 7 weeks old. That's when their social map gets drawn.
Now,
If a puppy misses out on good socialization during that tiny window, the fallout can be really serious. These so-called kennel dogs, who are isolated, they often never learn how to read social cues properly, and that can lead to a lifetime of fear and behavioral issues. It just proves that learning the social code isn't a bonus, it's essential.
And last but not least, let's talk about play. I know it looks like just silly fun, but for dogs, play is serious business. It's like a social laboratory. It's where they practice communicating, test out boundaries, figure out the social ladder, and most importantly, build those strong, affectionate bonds that keep their family, their pack, together.
So, you see, from the scientific ethogram all the way down to a game of tug-of-war, every single thing they do has a purpose. And by taking the time to learn their language, to understand their social code, we're not just becoming better pet owners, we're becoming better friends. And that right there is the first and most important step to building a bond that really lasts.